Hello to everybody, this is your GHBC School Assembly Team meeting you again. I hope you're all well and looking forward to learning some stuff at school. We've really missed you, we'd love to have been with you, but meantime we've got something to tell you on our screens in your classroom. Well, as you've been remembering, we've been looking this year at people who met Jesus, so we're going to carry that theme on a bit later on. But meantime, I hope that you've settled back in at school, and I hope you're learning really lots of things at school.
Did that scare you, Dave?
No, because I've got one. Oh dear. So that was a bit scary to start with, wasn't it?
It was.
So, Heather, what sort of things scare you?
I'm a bit scared of slugs, to be
Slugs?
honest.
Yeah, they are a bit sort of slimy and stuff,
Oh,
aren't
they're
they?
horrible.
Yeah.
I can't even step over them.
Can't you? Oh, that's terrible. You see, I got a niece and she gets a spider in the house and she's got to phone my brother up and he's got to come all the way from Bassett into Swindon to get rid of the spider.
People are scared of lots of things,
Yeah.
Dave, aren't they?
So you scared of anything else?
I'm a bit scared of clowns sometimes.
Clowns? I can't understand anybody being... I mean, clowns are supposed to be funny. I can't understand anybody being scared of clowns.
But they are a bit scary.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Does anything scare you, Dave?
Yeah, sometimes a really scary book. I've got a scary book with me at the moment.
Have you? Can
Yeah,
I see it?
Yeah, I'll show it to you. Look.
The Beano and Dandy?
Yeah, it's got about Dennis the Menace and the Gnasher in there, and you get some really, really scary things in there. Look what's happening here. Yeah.
Oh, that does look a bit scary,
Yeah, it is
Dave.
scary, isn't it? Hey, whoa, yeah. And then, well, when I was at school, the head teacher used to scare me a bit.
The head teacher?
Yeah, skinhead, tattoo around his neck saying, "I hate children," walking around in bother boots with a big cane in his hand. Yeah, that was when I was at school.
I don't think head teachers are like that, Dave. Do you, children? Is your head teacher scary?
Mine was. Do you know, things sometimes I get really, really... Do you know what the worst thing I ever got scared about?
No, what was that, Dave?
Well, we were on a plane. We were going to Disney World. And as the plane was coming into the land in Florida, they said, "There's a hurricane coming. And this is going to be the last plane to land here. And after that, there won't be any planes. You're lucky that you're on this plane."
Ooh.
And I'm thinking, well, that's not particularly lucky, is it? You know,
No.
landing in a hurricane. Well, we got off the plane and then we went to the place where we were staying. And when we got there, the man in charge said, "Can you sign this piece of paper?" And we said, "Well, why are we signing?" "Well, that's to say that you've decided to stay here, and if the building collapses and you get killed, it's not our fault." I'm thinking, that's a good reception, isn't it, into a place? And then he said, "Have these things as well." And I said, "What are they?" "They're flare torches," he said. "And if the building collapses or something and you get trapped," he says, "you break it in half and then the rescuers will be able to find you." And I'm thinking, well, that's not a nice welcome, is it?
No, must have been very scary, Dave.
Yeah. And then we tried to go out and walk down the road, and the sheriff came past in his car and he said, "You're not allowed out, you've got to go back inside the building." So we got inside the building, we didn't know whether the electricity was going to be on, we didn't know whether the water was going to go off. And then it started to blow. And it poured down with rain, and we could see the road outside, and it began to get flooded, and the water was coming over the pavement, and it got worse and worse. And then the wind started blowing, there were leaves coming off the tree, then it was branches coming off the tree, and then we looked out, and the building next to us, there were bits of the roof flying off all around, everywhere. And it was really, really scary. But fortunately, we were okay. But that was a really scary thing to have to go through.
I'm sure that was very scary.
Do you know, there's a story in the Bible about people who got scared. You remember we were talking about people who were with Jesus?
I do.
Well, 4 of them were fishermen. And they had a boat, possibly a bit like this, maybe not so many sails on it. But the rest of the disciples... how many disciples were there?
There were
12,
Dave,
yeah.
weren't there?
Yeah, so 4 would have been fishermen, and the rest, well, they did all sorts of different things, but I guess most of them couldn't even swim, you know, possibly only the fishermen were able to swim. Well, anyway, Jesus said, "Look, I'm ever so tired," he says, "can we go across the other side of the lake?" He says, "It's only about 5 kilometres," he says, "so it's not very far. and I'll have a lie down because I'm feeling really, really tired. So they all got onto the boat, all 12 of them got on the boat, and he lay down in the bottom of it, and he went to sleep. And everything was fine, you know, they sailed out all the way across, and they got to the middle of the lake, and it was okay. And then suddenly a wind blew up, and it started to make the waves a bit rocky. Well, I don't know whether you like being on the sea, but some of the disciples were really getting...
Oh no, a bit seasick.
Yeah,
it can be a bit scary, Dave, can't it?
Feeding the fish, you know, that's what they say. Well, and then the waves got bigger and the wind got stronger and they had to take the sails down because they didn't know what to do, and it was getting really, really rough, and then the water was coming over the boat and they were using their hands to scoop all the water out, and it was getting water in the bottom, it's getting more and more water in the bottom of the boat, and I think it's going to sink and we're all going to die and we can't swim or anything. What we're going to do?
They must have been really scared.
And all this time, Jesus was still in the boat and he was still asleep.
What? Well, the storm was raging.
Yeah, he must have been really, really tired. And he was probably wet through as well, but he was still asleep. And in the end, it got so bad, they screamed and they screamed, wake up, we're all going to die, we're all going to die. And then Jesus got up from his sleep and he just stood up and he says, wind and waves, be still. And to their amazement, all the water subsided. All the big waves just became little tiny ripples, and the wind died away. It must have been somebody who's really special to be able to do things like that. And then their disciples, they were all absolutely amazed.
That's an amazing story, Dave, isn't it? And those disciples must have been really scared of that storm.
Well, I'm not surprised because I've been in some pretty rough seas and on a big boat and I got a bit scared, you know.
It is scary. And sometimes there might be times when the children are scared at school. Sometimes they might have a new teacher, and that could be a little bit scary sometimes if we don't know the teacher.
Yeah.
Or perhaps we've got a test sometimes.
Oh, I hated tests at school.
Tests can be a little bit scary, can't
yeah.
they? And sometimes it might be helpful to talk to somebody.
Oh.
If we feel a little bit scared, mightn't it?
So, who do you think they ought to talk to then?
Well, they could talk to their mum, or they could talk to the teacher.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Or they could talk to their friends, couldn't
Yeah,
they? You could talk to your friends. Or...
So, when you see a clown or a slug, what would you do?
Well, sometimes if I'm a little bit scared about anything, I might talk to God about that.
Well, that seems a bit odd. How can God help you in things like that?
Well, if I'm scared, sometimes I know if I ask him to be with me, I feel a little bit safer and a little bit stronger.
Does it make a difference inside?
It makes me feel much happier inside.
Oh. So have you got some advice for the children then?
I think sometimes the children could talk to God and tell God about the things they're scared about too.
Is that a difficult thing to do?
It's a very easy thing to do. They can just actually talk to God like I'm talking to you now.
Oh, right. Okay. So anybody can do that then?
Anybody can do it, and it's really easy. And they can just tell God how they're feeling.
So, have you got a thought then for the children before we finish?
I think the children could just think for a minute about something that might have scared them, and just think about how they would talk to somebody about it. Who would they talk to? And could you talk to God about it? Could you tell God about the things that scare you? Let's just think about that for a few minutes.
Okay, so that's about us at the end. So, from Heather...
Goodbye from me.
And from me, bye-bye. We'll be with you again soon. Bye.
Bye.